Hey guys, so I've been posting stories on my Instagram about training in Jiu Jitsu, and some of you actually started asking me, I'm thinking about starting Jiu Jitsu, what's it like, is it too intense? So I thought I'd share some of the lessons that I've learned as a white belt. I haven't even been training that long, I just really fell in love with it, so a couple of the lessons that I've learned, or a few of the lessons that I've learned rather, of Jiu-Jitsu, especially if you're thinking of starting out or just trying it out, is you're really gonna get humbled. Like, there is no way around it. Like, you think, oh, you're like a big guy, you like maybe work out, you bench press, I don't know, 100 kg, or you squat with a lot of weight. Jiu-Jitsu is really gonna humble you. Like, I come here and I think I'm like strong, and I get tapped, see ya, and I get tapped by people who are 10, 15, 20, even 25 kilograms lighter than me, almost at wimp. So there's a deep truth to Jiu-Jitsu. It's really gonna humble you. Like, you'd be surprised. You think you've learned something, and then you're gonna tap over and over and over again. The second thing that really comes to mind is really doing something difficult, like the purposeful suffering. There's something really special about that. In today's society, everything is like at the whim of our fingertips, right? How many ads for fast foods, or fast dating and Tinder, or quick fixes, get money rich schemes. Everything is quick, everything is easy, right? I was doing a podcast with one of my jiu-jitsu instructors, and he said we almost have a duty to ourselves to be doing something difficult, especially with our body, because we live in a world where, let's face it, we haven't really earned the rights of all these freedoms. Someone actually fought for those freedoms far back in time for us to be doing all these things. So, doing something difficult in a spirit of camaraderie, that's the other thing. You really develop a very strong sense of community and sense of connections, because something like this is very, very intimate. Like, you're using your entire body, you're sweating all the time, people like pounding on you, doing weird things with your body like you never even seen. You're like, how did this just happen? So you're gonna develop that sense of camaraderie, but also this difficulty. I always post, like, do something difficult each day. There's really a lot of value into that. And I was watching the other day Joe Rogan talking about Jiu-Jitsu, saying it's an absolute sport, and he gave an example about, if you've been training stand-up, let's say boxing, for, 6 months, and you're sparring with someone who never trained boxing but is a much larger opponent, much bigger frame, probably heavier than you, can probably really pack a strong punch, there's a big probability you're gonna get knocked out, right? Just because there's a puncher's chance, and the very fact that the other person is a much, much larger human being. Now, comparison to Jiu-Jitsu, if that same person faces a black belt and the bigger guy never trained, and the fight goes to the ground, that guy's fucked. Like, there's nothing you can do on the ground with a black belt. And by the same token, if you are against a person that never trained and you've trained 6 months, chances are you're probably going to beat him. So this leads me to the other point, which is this confidence, emotional, mental, physical confidence that, God forbids, I don't want to hurt any people or anything like this. I don't even like fighting that much. But I actually, no. I do enjoy fighting, but I enjoy it in a way that is not necessarily street fighting, but in the gym, really exerting aggression, exerting physical tension and effort against another human being. I really enjoyed it. And before I was really afraid of that, but now, I remember the first time I stepped on a mat, I realized, wow, I can get really good at this. And don't get me wrong, I'm getting tapped out left and right, like smaller human beings than me are just ragdolling me. But it keeps my ego in check, and it gives me this quiet confidence that, like I said, I'm only a white belt, but if push comes to shove, and God forbids I'm in a situation where it's me and, let's say, my girlfriend and some other drunk guy who is being super aggressive, I want to be able to make that decision to say, you know what, I'm going to put this guy to the ground and I'm going to neutralize the threat. Like I said, it's not about harming people, it's not about going and getting into street fights. Some guys do it, that's fine, it's their own opinion, their own choice. But it's just me being able to make that decision, say, you know what, I'm going to neutralize whatever is ahead of me. If I can, of course. The other thing is also you get super fit. Like, you're going to lose a lot of weight, especially also physically fit, but also mentally as well, especially if you're suffering through anxiety or something like this. After Jiu Jitsu, it's essentially fighting without punching. And after that, everything is a lot more easier when you do it. So I think those are the things that I've really learned over the last 6 or 7 months that I've been training. I haven't even been that consistent, but it's one of those things that if you step on it and you really enjoy it, it becomes really addictive. The reason being is that you're solving constantly problems. Yeah. I'm trying to solve a problem now with this mosquito not trying to bite me, but your opponent is presenting a lot of problems to you and you're trying in real time to resolve those problems. That's why it's becoming so addictive. And of course there's pros and cons to it. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but these are the lessons that I've learned, really. Having that killer mentality sometimes, just to go for the kill and go for a submission. It's really good. So if you're new to this, if you're thinking about it, maybe watch this video, let me know what you think. Why would you start? Why wouldn't you start? Let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. Done.